Hello everyone, welcome to the today's class. Today we will be discussing about the banking transactions. In that we will be discussing banks and post offices, types of banks, types of bank accounts, procedure to open the bank account. In the earlier section we have covered what is bank, what are the characteristics of banks and what are the functions of bank. So let's begin with our class. Any sort of activity involving in money or exchange of money in an account is viewed as a bank transaction. So, what is the meaning of a bank transaction? They have given us a definition here. Any sort of activity involving money or exchange of money in an account is viewed as bank transaction. That means the deposits and withdrawals in short. Okay. Next, banks are the institutions that deal with the money that we have discussed in our definition itself. Bank keeps the money of customers in the form of deposits, and the money thus collected is lent to the customers who need money as loans. This is the basic function which we have discussed. It accepts the deposit from those who have the surplus money and it lends the money to those who are in need of it in the form of loan. These loans are called as bank loans. This is called as bank loans. Simple as that. Banks lend the money and collect interest on loans. This is also we have discussed. A part of interest collected on loans is given to the depositors as interest. Yeah. So the part of the interest which uh, collected on loans is given to the depositors and interest. That means from one source they are getting the money and they're utilizing it to another purpose. That itself. This interest forms the income to the depositors. The interest earned on an account. So, okay, the interest earned from account is what is income for a person, right? We are getting an income. So, hope the point is clear, right? Bank invest the customers' money in national and international businesses and increases their funds. So, apart from giving loans to the other people, what bank does is bank invests its customers' money in various other portfolios. It means in various other areas also. Yeah, bank can do anything, right? They can, if we are depositing our money, then they can do anything. Which means they can invest our money in any other fields also. That means they, they seek the permission, right? Without our prior intimation or information, they don't just go and deposit our money in wherever they want. They seek a permission. Yeah. Next, all the banking transactions. So we have done with this. Now we are discussing this paragraph. So all the banking transactions in India are controlled by the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, which is known as Mother of Banks or Bankers Bank or Central Bank of India. So all the banking transactions in India are controlled by the RBI, which is known as Mother of Banks or Bankers Bank or Central Bank of India. So there might be the question in your exam: who is known as mother of banks? Who is known as bankers bank? Which bank is known as Central Bank of India? So the answer is RBI. RBI formulates the monetary policy which should be followed by all the banks. So RBI, prepares the policies which should be followed by all the banks working in India. Today we have State Bank Group. That means we have State Bank of India, 20 nationalized banks. Yeah, so this in under nationalized banks, State Bank of India doesn't come, right? That's why they have given us separately that we have State Bank Group apart from those state banks. Yeah, that is State Bank of India. We have 20 nationalized banks. We have discussed in our earlier session that there are certain banks which got merged with the State Bank of India, like State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Hyderabad, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Patiala, State Bank of Travancore. Now we have only State Bank of India. So called a group called State Bank of India. Apart from that, 20 nationalized banks, we have then 21 private banks and 45 foreign banks. So this is very important from your examination point of view. They can ask how many nationalized banks are there, how many private banks are there, how many foreign banks are there. Yeah. So 20 nationalized banks, 21 private banks, 45 foreign banks. The network of banks consists of over 86,000 bank branches. So together, if we calculate, that is the nationalized, private, and foreign together, these forms 86,000 bank branches in our India. There are rural banks, regional banks, government banks, and private banks also. This you guys have learned in the economics section in your previous class, that which are the different types of banks. Okay, next I will be covering this. The recent development in banking industry is the inclusion of post offices in fold. That means they got a tie-up. We got a tie-up with India Post. The Indian Postal Department is planning to start a bank to be affectionately called as Postal Bank of India with the network of post offices spread all over India. 90% of them are in and around semi-urban and rural areas. So very soon, Indian Postal Department Postal Bank of India. Okay, uh, with the help of its post offices, which are spread in semi-urban and rural areas. The department is already providing various financial services. Apart from this starting a bank, the India Post is already providing us the financial services, including like post office savings bank account, issuing of national postal life insurance, pension payment, then issue of national savings certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra, monthly recurring deposits, then money transfer, etc. So we have various as like we have the bank accounts in postal uh, department. Also we can open savings account, we can open recurring deposit, we can open time deposit account. Okay, yeah. Next, the postal department is promoting a capital investment of 1,000 crores for the bank transaction. So it is also promoting a capital investment of 1,000 crores. It will be set up as a subsidiary with the postal department. Yeah. So there is a tie-up between postal department and bank. This much is enough for you guys to know at this point of time. Yeah. Next, moving further, now we will be discussing the types of banks. There are different types of bank. Each type of bank is specialized in different activities. Important types of banks are Central Bank or Reserve Bank of India, Then we have commercial banks, industrial development banks, land development banks, money lenders or shahukars, that is indigenous banks. Then we have cooperative banks. So the details about these banks have been learned in the economic section of their previous class. Okay. So no need to go in depth. You have learned in your previous classes what are the functions and all these things of the bank, of these different types of banks. Now moving further, we will be discussing types of bank accounts. First is savings bank account, current account, recurring deposit, and term or fixed deposit. First, we will be discussing savings bank account. This type of account is generally opened in banks by salaried persons or by persons who have fixed regular income. So generally, this type of account is opened by which type of people? Who are salaried person, means who are getting monthly salary, or by the persons who have fixed regular income, or who have the fixed regular income. Okay, now suppose they might be getting some from by doing some business, they will be getting fixed regular income. That means that's a certain sum of money they are getting on monthly basis or on regular basis, or they might be, they might be giving some tuitions. From that, they are getting some regular income. So this type of persons open the savings account. This facility is also given to the students, senior citizens, pensioners, etc. This facility is also savings account is also opened by students, senior citizens, pensioners, etc. to fulfill their needs. Suppose students, they are suppose students are, we know that they are going to different cities to study. There, they might be in need of money, so their parents will transfer the money to their bank accounts and thus help their child, right? So for that purpose also, a bank account is useful for the students. For senior citizens, their child must be in different city. So on monthly basis, their child must be sending some money to their parents. So that's also savings account help at that time also. Then for pensioners, pensioners will be getting regular pensions in their savings account. So for all these purposes, savings account is best suitable. Savings accounts are open to encourage people to save money and pool their savings. So, as the name suggests, savings. Save. So, the main purpose of this account is to encourage people to save money and pool their savings. Pool means gather their savings. Okay. There is no restriction on the number of amount of deposits. There is no restrictions on the number of deposits. The money can be withdrawn either by check or through a withdrawal slip available in the respective bank. So when it comes to withdrawal, it is up to the bank's policy. Earlier we don't have the limitations on the withdrawals, but now there are certain restrictions. Now also, I think we can withdraw, but after certain what we call, after a certain number of times, that is after 4 to 5 times of withdrawal, they charge a nominal fees for that. Yeah. So it all depends upon the bank's policy. Next, we will be discussing the current account. Current account is opened by businessmen who have large number of regular transactions with the bank. So the current account is opened by the business persons who have to do many transactions in the bank. It includes deposits, withdrawals, contra transactions. Okay, so that means deposits and withdrawals. That itself is the work in the bank. In current account, amount can be deposited or withdrawn any number of times in a day. Generally, banks do not give any interest on these deposits but collect service charges or bank charges on such accounts. See, as we know, in savings account, we have the uh, certain restrictions on withdrawals, right? So that's why to do the things hassle free, a businessman open the account called current account. The type of account called current account. In that, any number of times money can be deposited, and any number of times money can be withdrawn. On such the if we deposit a money in the current account, we do not get interest on that. Generally, we do not get. Okay. So, but in savings account, we get the interest on the deposits, and there is no restrictions on the withdrawal. There is no restrictions on the deposits on savings account, but there might be some restrictions on the withdrawal in the savings account. But in current account, there are no restrictions for deposits and withdrawals. Okay. Next, recurring deposit account. Okay. The These deposit accounts are generally opened for a purpose to be saved for a future date. These accounts are usually opened, those who want to save the money for a future date. For future requirements, deposits are made regularly on monthly basis. For some particular purpose. For example, they have given here for the purposes of wedding, expenses of children to buy costly items like land, car, house, etc. For that particular reason, people used to start saving to do the savings from now only on monthly basis. So yeah, that's if we are having any such purpose, then we can go for recurring deposit account. After the period is over, a total amount is repaid with interest. So you guys must be wondering then why people are not opening account in savings account. Why? Because there the interest given is less. In recurring deposits, as compared to savings account, we get more interest. Okay, that's why this particular account is opened. And in savings account, there is no restrictions on the withdrawal and deposits. Right? We have learned that on withdrawals we have only some limit, but in recurring deposit, we have more restrictions on the withdrawal. We cannot withdraw the money as and when required. They will not pay you that interest. That depends upon the bank's policy and the bank agreement while you are opening that RD account. Okay, they won't pay you that much of high interest if you going to withdraw again and again. Right? It is quite normal. It is obvious. That's why people go for the recurring deposit account, and that is the uh, counts and feature of this account. Okay, next is term deposit account. This type of account is opened for a fixed period by depositing a particular sum of the money. The term of the deposit may be 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. The deposit amount cannot be withdrawn before the expiry of the term. The rate of interest is more depending upon the term in the deposit account. This is also similar with recurring deposit, but in recurring deposit we can do some, there is nothing like we has to pay fixed amount on monthly basis. But in a term or fixed deposit account, as the name suggests, we has to pay. If there is an agreement to pay monthly 500, then for the 5 years, then we must and should pay it. Otherwise, there will be there will be a breach of this agreement, and we do not get the interest as per the agreement. So this is the main difference between recurring deposit and fixed deposit. Also, the amount cannot be withdrawn before the expiry of the term. We cannot withdraw the amount before the term. Okay. And also the rate of interest is more as compared to the other types of account. So hope the types of account is clear now. Now, okay, now let's discuss the procedure to open a bank account. Nowadays, banks have emerged as important institutions, banks provide a safe environment and help to manage financial transactions. To avail professional banking service, it is mandatory for every individual to open a bank account. If you want the banking services, if you want to use the banking services, you have to open a bank account. We cannot use the banking services without being a customer of the bank. Okay. Yes. So opening a bank account is not a difficult task. It takes 7 steps to open a bank account. So they have defined the procedure in the 7 steps. Let's discuss one by one. First is decide the type of account which you want to open. There are several types of bank accounts such as savings bank account, current account, recurring deposit, and fixed deposit or term deposit account. Decide which type of account you want to open in the bank. So as per the requirements, we have to decide which type of the account we need to open in the bank, right? I have explained you the features of this different types of accounts. So you have to decide if you're a salaried person, you can go for the savings account. If you're a businessman, you can go for the current account. If you want, some amount of money to be deposited regularly and you want high interest, you can go for the recurring deposit. And if you are so sure that you can pay certain fixed amount of money compulsorily every month, then you can go for the fixed deposit account. So as per the needs and requirement of yours, you can decide the type of account which you want to open. Next is approach the bank of your choice and meet its office. Once you have decided to open a particular type of account, approach the bank officer and inform him about your wish to open an account. The bank officer will give you required forms and instructions. So after deciding, tell them that I want to open this type of account. Accordingly, the that bank personnel will give you the required forms and instructions like how to form this, how to fill this form, what are the documents required, and all these things. Next is fill up the bank account form or proposal form. The bank account form is also called as proposal form. Why it is called as proposal form? Because bank is proposing you to open the account. That's why they have called as just proposal form. Okay. Fill up the form in all respects, such as your name, address, occupation, other details in the spaces provided. Make 2 or 3 specimen signatures on the specimen signature card. Okay, fill all these things, name, address, occupation, whatever they have asked. Then specimen signatures mean, yeah, they will ask you to do the signature. Yeah, while giving the check or while closing the account, while withdrawing the money, your that signature will be verified. That's what they are called as specimen signature. That means an example. Specimen means an example, and that sign should get matched while you are while you are giving the check, while you are filling any other form regarding that account. That specimen signature should get matched with that signature. Okay. Yes. So the signature should not be changed. If the account is to be opened in joint names, then the form must be signed jointly and specimen signature should be given in separate specimen signature cards. So if you are opening the joint account, that means two or more persons are together opening the account, then the signature should be given separately. Okay. Nowadays, banks insist upon submitting the passport size photograph for the purpose of identification. Submit them. Now, submitting self-attested copy of Aadhaar card is also mandatory. They will ask the photographs. They will ask you to submit Aadhaar card, PAN card as per the uh, rules laid down by the RBI. They will ask you to fill the forms and give the documents. Next is give reference for opening your bank account. Banks normally require reference or introduction of a prospective account holder by any of the existing account holder or some respectable person. The introducer introduces the prospective account holder by signing his specimen signature in the column meant for it. This reference or introduction is required to safeguard the interest of the bank. Yeah, this used to be happen earlier. Now it is not mandatory, but yeah, some cases the bank can ask us to give the reference person. That means a person should take the responsibility that okay, suppose I am opening a bank account, so I has to give another person's reference. Some that person should be respectable, or that person should be account holder in that bank, and that person should uh, should give assurance that okay, that this person, that means yeah, this person is of good character and is not into any criminal activities, and he will be taking all the responsibility of that. Such is the things they will ask. Yes. After this reference, submit the bank account form duly filled. After this reference part, in all the respects and along with required documents, address, proof, PAN card, Aadhaar card, etc. Whatever has been asked, submit it to the bank. Then initial deposit. After getting proposal form cleared, the initial amount is deposited in the bank through challenge. Then the bank issues a passbook, a checkbook, and pay in slip book in case of savings account. After this thing, initial deposit means the first initial means starting. According to the policies of the bank, different banks have different policies. We should deposit certain money as initial deposit. Yeah, we cannot open with zero balance account. There are some banks which are nowadays offering zero balance accounts also, but majority of the banks ask the initial deposit for it. After that, the bank issues us a passbook, a checkbook, okay, a pay-in slip book. Next, in case of term deposit, yeah, in case of savings account, they give us passbook, checkbook, and pay-in slip. Pay-in slip means it is a slip which we has to fill while depositing money in the bank. Okay. Next, in case of term deposit or fixed deposit, a separate form has to be filled and fixed deposit receipt is issued. Yeah, if we are opening the fixed deposit account, then to deposit money in that, there is a separate slip for the fixed deposit receipt. In case of current account, a checkbook is issued. For recurring deposit account, passbook and pay slip books are also issued. Yeah. For current account, they issue the checkbook. Next, advantages of opening a bank account. So what are the advantages of opening? First is bank account facilitates safe custody of money. Our money is in safe hands. Okay, that we get the assurance. Then what is next? Bank account helps in making payments. It helps, bank account helps us in making the payment. Suppose we are in different city. It helps our children to get the money as we have discussed. It helps our parents. It, also if we are a businessman, we are dealing with the person, we are trading with the person who lives in different city. It helps us to make the payment by sitting in our home. Bank account helps in collection of money. That means it helps us to save the money. Collection of money means saving of money. Bank account holder gets advances and loans. Suppose we are in need of money, bank holders gets the loans, right? We do not need to go for the traditional. Earlier, people used to go to, these money lenders. Nowadays, no, there is no such thing. Bank can give you the loan. Bank account helps in smooth financial transactions. It helps to conduct the transaction smoothly. We can easily deposit, we can easily withdraw. Next, bank account holders get safe deposit locker facility. Bank account holders get the locker facility where they can keep their, you know, important documents, jewelry, etc. Okay, that we have discussed. So this was it for your business studies for chapter banking transaction. Hope you have understood everything. If you have any doubts, do let me know in the comment section, and I will be very happy to clear all your doubts. If there is a feedback, please send it the feedback. I will work upon it. Also, please be in touch with the comments section of the video. I will be updating the links of the previous classes of the upcoming classes. So please be updated there. So this was it for today's class. Thank you and take care.